Oh my god.
No, this is actually better if it goes slow.
Is it working? Is it live streaming?
Sometime going, sometime breaking, all things happen.
Whoa.
This is actually good news.
Yeah?
Actually good news. Or don't go.
Oh, this is the earliest stream, no bro?
No. Oh, earlier.
Earliest stream.
Hare Krishna, are we ready?
Then it's coming.
Hari
We will be ever ready.
Are you there?
Yeah, it's good bro. It's starting.
You should not go up there, the problem. The moment it goes up, then
I'll see bro, I'll see.
if it
I
can
think it's stabling, it's stabling. It's good,
Just
it's
make
good.
a way there for
200 to
Hare Krishna.
they said working very slowly. Because it puts some far later.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanasakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Vishtam Savitam Dena Mukare Swayam Rupakada Madhyam Karati Saradadantikam Muktam Karoti Vachalam Gayati Garim Yatkripa Tamaham Bande Sri we're missing a oh, that's Sri Chaitanya and Priya. Sri Chaitanya is bringing Guru Maharaj.
Yes bro.
They're on their way now.
But here,
Okay.
network speed no, is very slow.
Let's just do the
We need a
archman
better
first. And we haven't got enough archmen
I
covered.
was saying that Sri Chaitanya Prabhu has a high speed transport. When he comes to that it's not very much possible to go.
See, no?
Om Apavitra
Apavitra
Avitrova
Avitrova
Sarvavastam
Sarvavastam
Pitopiva Yasmare Pundari Kaksham Savaya Yantaraha Suchihi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay, so hands up, who's got an archman cup? Here's another one here. Is there one? There's one there that can be shared. We'll do this as many people as we can have at one time. Use that. Share that one too. Over here. Who hasn't got an Archman cup? Individually. Well, you can only use it. Let's see how to do this. Generally speaking, one Archman cup per person, because otherwise it's a little hard to manage. Well, this is an Archman cup with no spoon. Okay, let's just do this, at least for those who've got, we can come back and do it again, it doesn't matter. Okay, so take 3 drops of water and put with your left hand into your right hand. You might be able to do it sharing. Yeah? Okay, looking into this is a purificatory rite, so we're preparing ourselves to be pure. It's a meditation also, to be pure in our performance of the jagya, so that's why we do the archman. So looking into the water, repeat after me. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Sip the water. Okay, and then pour another 3 drops of water on your hand, and then just discard that. You're cleaning your hand. Yeah. Okay, and now again, another 3 drops of water in the right hand. And looking at that water, repeat after me. Welcome to life. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Sip that water. Put 3 drops of water in your right hand and discard. And then put another 3 drops of water. And looking at the water, repeat after me. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Sip that water. Put another 3 drops of water in your hand and discard. And for good measure, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Whether pure or impure, having passed through all conditions of material life, if one can remember the lotus-eyed Krishna, he becomes externally and internally clean.
Can we change the hotspot? Internet.
But it's working right now, right? It's working, no?
What about the garland?
What happened to set speed is this? Yeah, hot on the left.
So change the hotspot.
Change hotspot. So whether it's broken or otherwise you have to go and reset again. Now 1:30 was it? It should work. This will be fine. You see the speed, no? What did you do?
Zoomed in so that go. It's easier.
I just leave it. What how to begin?
Sri Chaitanya Manabhistam Skapitam Vena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapanam Vansakalpa Srivischa Kripasinuvaya Vacha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Radha As everyone knows, if everyone could be a bit on the quiet side, that would be very helpful. That means no talk. Because even though ears don't shut like eyelids do, when the mouth opens, the ears do shut. You can't hear anything. So we want to hear. Of course, as an initiation ceremony, we want to hear about the importance of initiation, but we also basically want to hear about we want to hear about the true purpose of initiation, and which will ultimately lead us to hearing about Krishna. Because if we hear about Krishna, there's a great result. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. I heard Prabhupada speaking on this verse this morning. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. He said that we should hear about Krishna. Nityam means daily, and it also means continuously. Now what's the benefit of hearing about Krishna? The benefit of hearing about Krishna, especially if we become eager to hear about Krishna. When we become eager to hear about Krishna, then Krishna himself within the heart, he takes care of us in a wonderful way. He takes care of us. Okay, try again. I surrender. No problems because I can hear. Is so enchanting. And when we hear about Krishna, we hear about how Krishna deals with his devotees. And although Krishna is so appealing and so attractive, those who love Krishna in a true sense are even more attractive than Krishna. The reason why I say that is because what they have, they are called Ashraya Tattva, and Krishna is called the Vishaya. The Ashraya Tattva means that they are the reservoir of love for Krishna. So it's so important that we hear about Krishna in relationship with his devotees. Sometimes we see posters of Krishna and he's standing on the world signs floating around everywhere. But this kind of hearing that we want to focus our consciousness on is different from that type of thinking about Krishna, that type of hearing about Krishna. And this initiation ceremony, and Prabhupada, when he would speak about initiations, he would often say initiate. To initiate something means to begin something. So that's somewhat awkward in Prabhupada's Krishna consciousness movement, because this really isn't the beginning of your spiritual life at all. The spiritual life began, for practically speaking, everyone quite a long time ago, and who knows how long ago it began, how many lives ago it began. And not only do we call this an initiation ceremony, we also say that adoj shraddha, that the beginning is not initiation exactly, but it's faith. And where does faith come from? It comes from association with devotees when they're speaking about Krishna. So although this isn't truly a beginning, because before we take initiation, one would naturally have to have some faith. And faith is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that this is actually the seed of devotion. This is the Bhakti Lata Bija. It's faith, and sometimes Prabhupada would define the Bhakti Lata Bija following in the footsteps of Srila Jiva Goswami and Bhakti Sangha. He defines it also as a taste. A taste for what? It's a taste for something of a different realm, a different place, a different way of existence, a completely different level of sweetness. And the seed of that full tree of sweetness is a taste. I want that. I want that. It's a faith, a trust that something so wonderful is there for me, that I want that. And because I want that, I won't become perhaps overly distracted by the tastes and pleasures and the allurements of this world. It takes a seriousness. The taste leads to a seriousness to move beyond the superficial, beyond the temporary, to something that has such an irresistible sweetness that we can't avoid desiring to taste it. And I'll tell you just some events in my life. That was sort of the secret of Prabhupada. How did Prabhupada do something so impossible as starting the Krishna consciousness movement, where, as we all know, there was such a story that he came on the Jaladuta and he had nothing but his books, and it's such an incredible story that it's almost unbelievable. At what age, too? At the age of 69, turning 70 on the very voyage here to the United States, and he came with nothing, and he did not know whether when he disembarked from the ship, after suffering 2 heart attacks and having just a few rupees in his books, and he did not, as he said, did not know whether to turn left or right. And look what happened. As a result of that voyage, which superficially could have disappeared in time as completely insignificant, but it turned out to be so significant, as we know it, in the life of so many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. But we also have hints that it's such a significant voyage for the whole world, because the whole world is in such a dangerous position and it needs some true sweetness. The world offers the promise of sweetness, but it delivers only the taste of ashes. Have you ever tasted ashes? They're not very palatable. But the promise is so strong and being propagated by everyone in the world, by every phone, every newspaper, every website, every advertisement, every person is so enamored by the tastes of this world that it's almost impossible to not fall onto to the sway, under the influence of those tastes. But yet, those tastes of this world only lead to frustration. And the taste that Prabhupada carried with him, and this was what I wish to say, when one was in the presence of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada blessed the city of Melbourne by visiting quite a few times. He carried that sweetness with him. It wasn't just the charisma, the power of a person who is charismatic and powerful in this world, because there are many charismatic people, but they don't carry the sweetness of I won't say exactly what it is right now, but I'll tell you how I understood it. Is that in 1976, Mataji and I had the fortune of traveling with Prabhupada from Melbourne to New Zealand to Fiji and then to Los Angeles. And the simplest things, because of what Prabhupada was carrying in his consciousness, his Krishna consciousness, his Vrindavan consciousness, his Mahaprabhu Nityananda Prabhu consciousness. He had the sweetness that in his presence, you wanted that. You wanted that. He was carrying it with him in his heart. You wanted to, we couldn't conceive of it at that time, but we wanted to be able to experience or be gifted with the great gift of that he was carrying in his consciousness. And of course we knew it was Krishna consciousness, that he was always chanting Hare Krishna. But for me personally, to understand Prabhupada's secret that attracted so many people by his chanting, by his preaching, by his very presence, the secret of his sweetness, it didn't really become clear to me until after we had traveled with Prabhupada. And then from Los Angeles, we arrived before Prabhupada arrived, and we went to Dallas, Texas. And in Dallas, Texas, there are wonderful deities that Srila Prabhupada installed. What are the names of those deities? And that was the first time that I had actually done deity worship. This was in 1976, official deity worship. Because so much of our Krishna conscious lives were in very pioneering type of places, myself, Japan, and then Hong Kong. And we actually asked Prabhupada, I asked him if we should get some Gaurnatai deities. He said no, because that would take too much time. And what he meant is that he should be talking to people about Krishna and preaching about Krishna and those kind of activities. But in any case, I had never done any real deity worship before in an official deity installed altar. And I remember very clearly stepping up into that altar, and suddenly, in the presence of Radhakala Chandji, I had an experience that was exactly like the experience of being with Prabhupada. This was unmeditated, and I didn't think of it beforehand. But I just immediately, having so recently been with Prabhupada, recognized the experience of Radha Kalachandji, meaning the experience of the deities, which means Radha Krishna deities, which means the experience of Braja, Vrindavan. And I understood, just by experience, again without any premeditated thought, that the feeling was exactly like being with Prabhupada. Exactly like being with Prabhupada. And I could understand that this was Prabhupada's secret. That Prabhupada, his consciousness was always in Vrindavan. He was a lover of Radha and Krishna. He was a servant, a loving servant of Sri Radha and Krishna, who Vrindavanam prityaga padam ekam nagachati. They never go one step even beyond Vrindavan. And although Prabhupada was traveling all over the world, it was clear to me that he also never went one step out of Vrindavan. And recently I was reading in Chaitanya Charitamrita when Mahaprabhu, in the 16th chapter of Madhya Lila, when Mahaprabhu had desired to go to Vrindavan, but instead he actually emphasized his real desire, and his real desire was to see Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami and Ramakelis, who went there to give him his. He was actually in touch with them previously by letters, but he wanted to give them his personal association, so he didn't actually go to Vrindavan. And the reason he gave at that time for not going to Vrindavan was that Sanatana Goswami had said something to him. Because when Mahaprabhu was traveling, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, he was dancing. And this was, if you want to talk about a preaching technique, this was Mahaprabhu's preaching technique. He would be fully absorbed in ecstasy. When he goes to South India, when he goes even through the forests of Jharkhand to get to Vrindavan, when he's in Vrindavan, when he's traveling through Bengal, his preaching strategy was so simple: internal absorption and ecstasy. And there was another few things too. One was he was completely learned, and another, he was so beautiful. Everyone was attracted to him because of his beauty, because of his ecstasy, because of his internal absorption. See Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana. But so hundreds of people were following him when he went to Ramakeli, and Sanatana Goswami was inspired by Mahaprabhu to say, when you go to Vrindavan, you can't go with hundreds and hundreds of people, of course, unless your service is to be preaching there. But it's best to go alone. Because when one is alone, which everyone in this world fears so much to be alone, because what happens when you're alone? You're confronted with the fact that you are feeling yourself very lonely. That's the confrontation. And people don't know what to do when they're alone. But actually speaking, we're supposed to turn to Krishna because we're not actually alone, because we're facing, now in this case we're facing forward and seeing Krishna in so many different forms, in the form of the devotees, in the form of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, in the form of, we're seeing Krishna in so many forms. But if I have my back turned over there, then I won't see him at all. So turning to Krishna is the alternative to distraction. Distracting ourselves from the feeling that I'm alone and I don't know what to do, and it's quite frightening to feel oneself alone. But Krishna, if we turn to Krishna, we'll see that we're not alone and we never were alone. And then when confronted with Krishna, then we have to work out what our relationship with him is. And as we know, it's that Nityadas, Krishna Nityadas. Nityadasi, that we're servants of Krishna. Who we are, this is who we are actually, when we're not distracted by the countless other things that the material nature will hypnotize us with. This is who we actually are, and the depths of who we are is we're Krishna's servants, loving servants. So Mahaprabhu took Sanatana Goswami's words extremely seriously. He thought about it later. He said, I heard what, and he speaks about this. And he says, I thought about what Sanatana Goswami said, and I saw that he was right. Because we want to go one deeply. Not that we should be alone in that sense, but we want to go deep. It's going to take depth to be with Krishna and Vrindavan and awaken our real identity, who we really are, and be in the sweetness of our relationship with Krishna and Sri Vrindavan Dham. It takes so much sincerity and it takes so much mercy. So even though we're not at all recommended to do Nirjan Bhajan, to be alone and just chant Hare Krishna, it takes some internal absorption. To do any kind of service, actually, in a proper way, in a conscious way, as seva, as an offering to Krishna, whether that service is preaching or attending the programs or the deity worship or the cooking or the distribution of books or assisting as a secretary or doing this or doing that or painting on leaves even about Krishna and distributing them like some people have a tendency to do. And I'll just warn you now that don't carry any good-looking rocks with you because Mataji will say, can I hold that rock for a second? I'll show you a magic trick. I'll show you how to make it. You just close your eyes and then maybe she'll return it to you later with always think about Vrindavan or something like that. But to somehow or another keep an internal absorption. Why are we doing this? Why are we sitting here? Why are we serving? Why do we help the devotees? Why do we do this? Why do we do that? What's our internal absorption? What's the reason? And this takes some careful thought because our reasons are often quite mixed. Sometimes they're quite materialistic when we get down to it. So this is a step on the process of turning to Krishna. An important step on the process, recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami, right in the very beginning of the processes that he describes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Nectar of Devotion, that one should take shelter, official shelter of spiritual master, and then take instructions, and then render service. And from the spiritual master's point of view, he is only thinking of himself as servant. And who is he serving? He's serving the disciples, he's serving his spiritual master, he's passing on whatever knowledge he's representing, he's giving whatever jewels of spiritual realization he's gathered through his life. He's passing those jewels on. That's his desire, to pass on whatever little wealth he may have collected and connect him in that way to a great reservoir of wealth that Srila Prabhupada is, because he connected us to through Guru Parampara to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, ultimately to Sri Radha and Krishna. So this is such an important step. Such an important step. But it's, when Prabhupada said it's the initiation, beginning, what he meant was, it's not the end. I was at the first time I saw Srila Prabhupada, actually, I came down from my university. I should better to say I came up from my university, even though the direction was south, because, and of course everyone from an Indian background will love the name of my university. It was called Buffalo University. Sometimes we learned how to turn left and sometimes right. Even though most of us turned in the wrong direction, I have to say. But, because when you're at Buffalo University, you can only go up. So I went up to, the direction went south, I went to, up to New York, and myself and another friend who had already began chanting. We were a little late for the Friday night class. The Prabhupada was just sitting there, and the room was full of aspiring devotees. And we saw Prabhupada for the first time. And then on the Sunday, that was on Friday that I first saw Prabhupada, I had two first reactions. One was, he reminds me of my grandfather. And the second reaction was, he's very powerful. He's very powerful. The sweetness wasn't the first thing that was apparent to me. He was very powerful individual. And then on the Sunday, there was an initiation ceremony, and a marriage, Prabhupada performed a marriage ceremony, and he spoke. And there was also the installation of Jagannath Baladev and Subhadra Devi there at 26 2nd Avenue. And that was such an experience for me. I've never seen Jagannath Baladev, Subhadra. And someone from India, you used to see Jagannath Baladev, Subhadra, but from someone from New York City, it was the most, I would say, I'm not sure what word comes to my mind, but suddenly these drums started playing, boom, boom, it was a madanga. And it was the first time I was more or less in a temple, and suddenly these huge figures would pull there with huge smiles. And I was wondering, my first thought was, what have I gotten myself into here? But then they put Jagannath Baladev and Subhadra Devi on the altar, and it was just smiling. And so quickly, I thought, they're wonderful. They're wonderful. But at the initiation ceremony, Prabhupada initiated four human beings. One of them became His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami, who was not only a human being, but a most exalted human being, and a very dear friend. I don't know how many of you know His Holiness Jayadvaita Raj, but he's so amazing. He's so brave. When he sees something is true, he will just boom. If he sees something is false, cut. He's wonderful. But another person, this was more like a person, but still a person. He got the name of Jai Narayan. And he was writing a university paper on what it feels like to be initiated. And after the initiation ceremony, no one ever saw him again.
Oh my God.
So The initiation means to begin, as opposed to, that's the sense, because it's not, as I mentioned before, it's not the beginning, because you've all chanted for so long, you've all studied, you've passed so many examinations, and you probably had your fingerprints taken and everything, and your eyes, what is that called? They call that biometrics. They haven't instituted that yet? Raslandini.
Don't mention this and we'll stop.
But it's, huh? Yet. Do you have your vaccination passport yet? And do you have the chip on your passport yet, with all your data? And Korban, everything. So this is not the end of the process. The end of the process is when we are when we're with Krishna and Vrindavan, and we're so in love with Krishna, and the servants of Krishna, and the servants of Krishna, that we can't, in a completely natural way, we can't think about anything else or anyone else, and it's just about Krishna, 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 Krishna. And when we're not with Krishna, as Prahlad Maharaj, or Prabhupada actually describes in the purport in the 7th canto about Prahlad Maharaj, when he was with Krishna, he would laugh and dance, and when he couldn't see Krishna, he would cry and cry and cry, just from not seeing Krishna. We read in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, the cowherd boys, when Krishna would walk behind a tree, and they couldn't see him for a moment, that was almost intolerable. And they would run to Krishna, I want to touch Krishna first, I want to be with Krishna, and Krishna just escape for a few moments with Balaram or some of the other boys, just to see the beauty of the Vrindavan forest, and he just would be running towards Krishna. And the Braja Gopis, and Krishna would, he was so tricky too. He would play his flute. He would play his flute, and he would play their names with his flute, each of the individual gopis, and he would call them in this way. And then they would get there, they would run through the forest and get there, and then he'd say, oh, it's so nice that you're here. Now that you've seen the beauty of the forest, you can go home. And their response to that is called the Pranaya Gita. Because Krishna was poking them in his own way. For a purpose though, because on the stage of Pranaya, which is a stage of prema, which is very, very, very high, then one loses shyness even. Because usually when you love someone, you don't, unless the love is very extreme, you don't announce it. It's very, very private and secret. But Krishna wanted to hear about their love for him. So he poked them in this way, so that their love would rise to the level of pranaya, so they would start speaking about them. And then he does it again in the Gopi Gita, too, which is a bit later. So, so Krishna is dealing in this way with Mother Yashoda. The milk pot boils over, and she's thinking, this milk is for Krishna, so I have to take care of the milk. And then Krishna becomes angry because she puts him down and won't feed him breast milk to protect the milk. And Krishna's just, he's the master of rasa. He's just playing people's hearts. He's Lila Purushotama. And he's just doing this as a service to increase the ecstasy. And everyone in Brajla is completely captivated by this most attractive person. So that's where initiation ends. And that's what Prabhupada is carrying with him. And that was the gift that he wanted to give everyone. Please switch your mobile phone to cow ringtone. And then we don't mind. Then we could all call each other and we go, woo, woo. Then we won't mind. So it's a journey. And it's quite an adventure also. And we should become, we should do our services, and we should gradually become internally absorbed. And Mahaprabhu has said, Trinada Pisuni Chena, Trinada Pisuni Chena, Manina, Maradena, Chaitanya, Hari, Sadahari. This is the garland, he said, that of humility that we should wear around our necks continuously, because when you have something around your neck, wherever you go, it's still around your neck. So we should keep that, and when we're in a difficult situation, when someone says something to us or something happens we don't like, we should see how this is Krishna's mercy. His teachings, holding up a mirror so we see if we have any humility or not. Prabhupada also said one time in the Delhi temple, I heard one Mataji, who was a very early devotee. She was from Germany, and she was serving in the Delhi temple very early. While Prabhupada was there, and the movement was very young, and the devotees weren't getting along with each other, not like the Melbourne temple, where the devotees have such a sweet and serving mood because of the sweetness of the deities and because of the stability of the temple, which is very much happened because of two individuals who have been here for so long. So therefore the devotees like being under the care of parents, the stability. So, but that wasn't the case at this time. And the devotees were fighting and fighting and fighting. Because everyone was very young. And so Mataji went to Prabhupada. Just imagine if that had a problem, you could just go to see Prabhupada with it. So she went to Prabhupada and said, I can't take it anymore. The devotees are just fighting and fighting and fighting. I can't take it anymore. Because when there's fighting amongst the family members, it's very hard to take. When you fight with your enemies, that's not what people consider you an enemy, or people you don't know, that's not a big problem. But fighting amongst those who have natural love for each other is very, very painful. So she said, I can't take it anymore. And Prabhupada said, if there's a fight amongst devotees, both parties are at fault. As opposed to the way we usually think, and that it's the other person who is at fault. And he said, if there's a fight amongst devotees, both parties are at fault. And then he explained himself. It means that both are not humble enough. Because if one person wants to fight, and the other person refuses to fight, there's no fight. I want to, I'll end soon, don't worry. Because one thing reminds me of another thing, and another thing, and another thing, and another thing. Once I was going to Delhi from Vrindavan in a taxi, and we were going through Faridabad, and there was so much traffic, and from the other side of the road, in the taxi I was in, a car came and hit the car that I was in. And the Indian system, generally, is that when you're in a car accident, you get out and yell at the other person. Nothing. This is the system. Yes? And it's, of course, I'm so fortunate, I have no idea what they're saying. But they're yelling. Usually they just yell at it, especially in Vrindavan, I've seen it. They say, it's all your fault, it's your fault. In Gujarat also, same system. But in this case, my driver, whose name was Radha Krishna, the taxi drivers in Vrindavan and Radha Krishna, he got out and started yelling at the other person. And the other person, the other driver, just got out of his car and went like this. and that was the end of the argument. He couldn't say anything. Because it's no use. You're yelling and he's going, yes. It was over. I think my God was so disappointed. So anyway, that was just an example of there can't be a fight if both are completely humble, or even if one is completely humble. Okay. Thank you. What happens next? Okay. Now we have to look at our little name book. Hare Krishna. It's funny, it took me really a long time to choose the names. And I was changing them right up to the last moment, practically speaking. Now I can't even see it. No, I can't. Yeah. So this is, I guess we could have an exciting way to see which one comes out first. Let's see. It's these over here. These over here. Because each of the individuals is such it's also so tricky. You have a kinjal and a kajal. so funny. We're giving someone beads out of a plastic bag. But anyway, take the bags, use them later. So the photographers can get good photos. No, because the devotees is experienced. Is Bhakti here? Oh, very good. So, everyone. So, you know the 4 rules? So, your name, the name I chose for you may surprise you, but it's Sarva Lakshmi. That is the name of Srimati Radharani. And the reason why I thought this was a good name for you is because you shouldn't worry about anything. That's why. Because Lakshmi is the goddess of fortune. So you are very fortunate, and you will always be fortunate, and don't worry about anything. Okay? Where's Prabhu? I didn't find him. Please, I humbly request this one to be there. What? Where's Shreya?
Max. That's it.
Oh, Baba Lakshmi Mati. 16 rounds or so. How long have you been chanting 16 rounds a day? How long? Long time. Krishna.
Shreya, can you raise your hand?
Could you come for a second?
Shreya, come up the front.
So, the whole family is very dear, and not that others aren't dear, everybody. Please come sit here. All exceptional. So, what are the 4 rules? Okay, you can sit there. And you've been chanting 16 rounds a day for a long time. Yes. And first I'll take your beads out of the plastic bag. And I'm please stand 16 inches away. Of course, at least minimum. And actually, Prabhupada initiated me, told me to chant over here. And also, some of the beads didn't have, after 8, there should be some of the beads didn't have that string, represents the 8 gopis. So, Sri Subhadra Devi. And also, because Subhadra Devi is in the middle, yes? And when she looks to the right, she sees a big smiling face of Lord Balaram. And when she looks to the left, she sees a big smiling face of Lord Jagannath. And do you think she ever has anything to worry about? So also you don't. Okay. Maybe both puppies can look. One of the most wonderful things about the Melbourne Temple is the serving room that the devotees have to each other. Very, very touching. And also another wonderful thing is the amount of educational courses, devotional educational courses. We really see the future here as an educational institution. And that's what we're doing in the book distribution is the textbooks. And of course there's the DVDs. But without the devotees, it's very lonely. The devotees in Melbourne. The devotees are the real wealth of a temple. The real wealth of the temple is the devotees. And the serving room is exceptional. And please increase it. And all the children were also so exceptional. And I'm really seeing that. The children are so exceptional. It means the parents are so exceptional. It means the mercy that is flowing is exceptional. And here are 2 exceptional devotees too. So, there are 4 rooms, please. And promise to have 16 rooms. And your name is easy to find. Because it's Krishna. Krishna does it. What did I say? Krishna includes everything. And it's your nature. Good souls. And of course you don't have anything to worry about either. Right? Krishna does? You have to maybe grow up a little bit. Can you promise to take 16 rounds at this point? And Prabhu, he's had the honor of having the biggest beats. Too big isn't so good. It takes too long to chant on them. From the 4 rows, please. And 16 rounds a day without fail. Such pious souls. So when your name is Harish, that gives you a lot of hints. Yes? Because where they come from, a town in Israel named Harish also. And yes, Hari Gopal Das. And what does Gopal mean? What is Gopal?
Krishna.
Total or? That's Rasana.
Take care of the cows.
Protector of the Hari Gopal. Good name. Parma and then those fools. Please, all kind-hearted devotees, please pray for all these also kind-hearted devotees who are participating so that they progress in their welfare, their eternal welfare. Such good souls. Such good souls. Whereas a very, very gentle one. So that's to your mouth. Do you feel happy today? Don't put your back to any of the daisies. So, you. The 4 rows, please. And promise to chant 16 rounds every day. Hare Krishna. This one was, to find this name was quite easy to Your initiated name is Parama Karuna Devi. That's a lot of responsibility in service. Prabhu, if you could move forward, please. And Thomas could chant 16 rounds a day. This was a very difficult one. And I had actually chosen another name. But this morning I saw one verse. And I thought, yes, this is. And the verse was Mukham. What's the second word? Mukham. Mungo lagayate takripa tamaham bande paramanamila marava. It's a good Parama family. So Paramananda, of course, means full of such bliss. Madhava is such a wonderful thing, very sweet. And both of your names carry a lot of responsibility. And I know that you both have the capacity to carry those names. Paramananda, Madhava, Paramakuru. Yes. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. See, I will say sweeter here too. Come. You're looking quite princely. very special family. Sit, sit. What do you have? What do you have over here? What do you have over here by your pocket? Is that, what is that? What is it? Nothing. I don't believe you. Okay, mother, what is that? From? Are you from India? No. But such a prince, why don't you stand up? Don't make believe you're shy. Quite princely, yes? Okay. Before Bruce, please. And, yes. Listen to your brother-in-law. He's very helpful. So, Krishna Mai's name, and your name took a while, and promised to chant 60 lines a day. So, the name we chose for you is Mukunda Krishna. And Mukunda has many meanings. One is the giver of liberation, but another is one whose face, smile on his face, blossoms like a flower. Photo opportunity. Okay, please be happy. And such nice family. 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 At least on the mother's side. Thank you. Such nice, sincere, serious devotees. And for those getting second initiation, those who getting second initiation, over here, here, these are two devotees. I'll probably embarrass them if I ask them to stand up, but I'm going to do it anyway. They are from Harish in Israel, but they have taken shelter of Radha Govardhana Dali after having lived in Mayapur, Sridham Mayapur for a long time. They're teachers and very, very good-hearted souls. And if you could just, I'd like to introduce you to the Sri Hari Priya and Sri Hari Namdas. And they are the very special souls. And 4 children. And in their house, they at one point, had 4 teenagers. And the second initiation is for the Diksha mantras, the mantras that Srila Prabhupada gave me and passed on. And these are mantras for meditation. And unless one enters deeply, which will happen after time, they have unlimited depth to them, the Diksha mantras. I will tell you a sad story that Jagtrani Mataji once told me, not about Diksha, but about the first initiation, Harinam initiation. You can correct me if I get it wrong, but in Mayapur you once met a disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Mataji, if I remember, and you asked her what name Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave her, and she couldn't remember. So it would be very nice if at home you call each other by your Diksha, your spiritual names too. But it's a true story and a sad story. Huh? It's a true story and a sad story. So we take this as a good step in the direction to make use of our human lives. Okay? Hare Krishna.
दो बैग्स आए ऊपर एक नरसिम्हा देव वाला एक बैकपैक उसके अंदर फ्रेश बैग्स मतलब 2 थैली लेके आया था उसमें से एक में फ्रेश बीज रखने के लिए उसमें से ग्रीन नरसिम्हा देव वाला
Let's do a little bit of organising here. The initiates, if you could come a little bit closer. Jagatarina, if you could come around here. Otherwise, I know when people are sitting behind it means brains in the back of their head. Would you like to go?
So how do I close this?
Ananda, you have to move the harmonium.
So this is going to be a very simple yajna. I've already chanted the Vishnu Smaranam mantras. When you're offering grains into the fire, we don't use our index finger. It's a muchi. It's a muchi finger, okay? And a small amount of grains into the fire is okay. So I'm going to install the fire. It'll take a couple of minutes and do the puja. We're welcoming Lord Vishnu in the form of the flame. And of course, we're asking the Lord to witness the vows of the devotees, and of course you're also present here as the witnesses, and we're offering our blessings to the initiates and requesting Lord Vishnu to also give his blessings to you all. Okay, so of course we know that Srila Prabhupada emphasized the chanting of Hare Krishna as the real Jagya. So Kirtan also, please.
You want Shama? No?
repeat after me. Om Bhagavata Vasya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. After me, Swaha Swaha Swaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Bhutale Ayam Tadati Padantikam Swaha Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sahajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Virata Swaha 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 Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhurijana Prabhu Iti Namine Swaha 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 Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Swaha 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 Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Reshatarine Swaha 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 Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Swaha Swaha Swaha. Small quantity of grains because you're going to run out if you throw everything in all on the first go. So, and we've only got a small fire. So we have to be pregnant. Sri Vashapanavi Devi Dvaitaya Abdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Swaha Swaha Prematya Sri Rupanuga Bhaktida Sri Gora Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostate Swaha 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 Namaste Gauravani Sri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Virudha Apasiganta Dvanta Harine Swaha 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 Namo Gora Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralamba Prasambode Adambujaya Te Namaha Swaha Swaha Swaha
How do you get this out? I don't know what this is actually.
Namo
How does it get this out?
Bhakti Vinodaya Satchit
This one, let's get
Anandamine Gora Shakti Surupaya Rupanuga Varayate
No. You did it, miss. Okay.
Swaha Bhumestvam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priyaha Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Sri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Swaha 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 Vanchakalpa Karubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Swaha Swaha Swaha
It's up.
Namo Mahadanyaya Krishna Prema Yadayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tvije Namaha Swaha 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 Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Swaha 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 Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Swaha 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 Jayatam Surato Mama Mandak Mater Gati Matsarvasva Haram Bojo Radhamadana Mohano Swaha 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 Divya Vrindaraniya Kalpa Drumadha Srimad Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Kristalibhi Sevyamano Smarami Swaha 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 Sriman Rasa Rasarambhi Vamshivata Tapta Stitaha Karsham Venusvanayam Gopir Gopinata Sri Astu Naha Swaha 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 Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shrute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Swaha 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 Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Swaha 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha 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 Shall we do some more Maha mantras? 2 more? So I can build the fire up, because we've got 12 bananas. As soon as you put the bananas on the fire, they're going to put the fire out. But you know, in the age of performing sacrifices, they were so big that whatever you put in it, the fire would consume. The Prabhupada says you have to be very wealthy to perform those jhanas. We're doing somewhat of a facsimile. But anyway, we'll do 2 more Maha mantras so that we can get this. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Swaha 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Swaha, Swaha, Swaha. Okay, if everybody could stand, please. Or at least, and holding your bananas. You leave the grains on the ground for now. We'll put them in last. You're just holding your banana. We're going to Everybody ready? You might not come around this way. Namo Brahmanya Devaya. Don't stand in front of the deities, please. Yeah. Go. Purnahurti. You can put your bananas in the fire. You might want to come around here.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Nam Sankirtana ki Prabhupada ki
Hare Bol, Hare Bol.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, everybody, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Nityananda, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Done.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Jam.
Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
हरि बोल श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय श्री गुरु गोरखनाथ श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga,